All right, we are now moving on to our NBA playoff preview, and we'll begin in the Eastern Conference with the top seed Philadelphia 76ers facing the aforementioned Washington Wizards. Okay, Drake, how much trouble can the Wizards give the 76ers?
This is a sweep. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. But listen, we're going to get probably two games where it come down to one possession, and then we on the edge all season like, oh, the Wizards going to get a win. They're going to get a win, and then something else is going to happen. So I don't expect much from here. I think it's a sweep. Wizards, thank you for coming. We'll see you next year. The gift basket is in the mail.
I don't disagree all that much. This is what I think we're going to see in this series. I think Philly's going to win the first two games, and then I think Embiid and Ben Simmons they'll fall asleep or whatever on might be during the game because they think it's so easy. I think Westbrook and Beal, they're good enough. They'll get them game three, but then Doc Rivers goes in there, cracks the whip, so to speak, and they take care of them 4 and 5. I think it's a gentleman's sweep. I think the 76ers win this one in 5. Okay, the Brooklyn Nets, the ones with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and maybe James Harden. I don't know. They'll get the 76ers of Jason Tatum and the not Jaylen Brown Celtics because he won't play. What do you have for that one?
Now that one, the philosophy you just gave for the first game is the philosophy I'm taking with that one. I think Kyrie, you don't know if he's gonna play or not. That's what he do. I think this one goes 5. I think the Celtics are good enough to win a game. I think Tatum, could give you one of those 50-point joints. And then the rest of the team, Mark Smart and et cetera, come through, get you one game, and then the Nets say, listen, bump the defense. We just gonna go out here and put up 150 and then ride off in the sunset. So I think that one, Nets in 5. Tatum dropping 50 points. They'll get one game.
Yeah, I'm the opposite on this one. I think this one's a sweep. I think Jason Tatum is capable of getting them a game. But man, it almost, I mean, even though they beat Washington by 18 in the play-in, I mean, you almost felt like you needed a 50-point night from Jason Tatum. And also keep this in mind in that game. They got 79 combined from Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker. Their depth, and I've talked about it lately, their depth is unimpressive. I think even with the problems Brooklyn has right now, and we just don't know, the KD, Kyrie, Harden thing, we just haven't seen a lot together. I don't think it's gonna matter much in this scenario. And I think the writing's on the wall in Boston for this year. I think they know that they don't have a chance in this series. Okay, we got a rematch from last year's Eastern Conference semifinals. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat. What you got?
Woo, doggy. I'm going 6. Milwaukee. Get them in 6. Here's why. Different dynamic from last year. You gotta travel. You got fans. Giannis got something to prove this year. He kind of been flaming out in these playoffs. It's getting a little old now. He got to show us something. I think this is his chance to show us something. I love Miami and this is why I give them the respect and say 6, possibly even 7. I think they got enough to win 2 or 3 games. But at the end of the day, Milwaukee pulls this series out. They got the home court advantage. It's just very hard for me to see them losing this series with these circumstances because this is not the bubble. This is not, hey, we're going from the hotel to the court, from the court back to the hotel. That's not this. That was something different. Now you're traveling. These young guys are going to get a feel of what it feels like to be in the postseason, travel, fans, and everything that comes along that they missed last year in the process. So I'm going Milwaukee in 6.
I think this one's going the distance.
Okay.
You bring up some valid points. It's going to be a little bit different than it was last year. You're going to have travel. You're going to have some fans. I also think there's a lot of pressure on Milwaukee. You think about it. You don't want to go out in the first round this year because this will be the 3rd straight season they went backwards from the Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern Conference semis, and now the Eastern Conference first round. that ain't something that's going to look good on a resume of Giannis or Mike Budenholzer. So I think there's a lot of pressure on them, and there's a couple series in this first round that I think game one is critical, and game one is critical to Milwaukee. They need a good start in this series this afternoon, to get some confidence. If they lose game one, you got to believe there's going to be some thoughts on, oh, here we go again against this team. Miami's going to make things difficult on them. Bam Adebayo and Giannis. You know how I feel about Bam Adebayo and what he does in his all-around game, but especially on the defensive end. Giannis going to have his work cut out for him. I think in the end, it's going to come down to those others, particularly Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Giannis is going to need a supporting cast to step up. I think they do enough, but it's going to be a battle. It's going to go 7. And Knicks and Hawks, a very interesting 4 or 5 matchup that both of those teams should be pleased that they landed in, because they don't have to play Milwaukee, Brooklyn, or Philadelphia. Who wins that one?
All right, so this is I'm gonna consider this the best first round series in the Eastern Conference for me. This one goes 7, I think, and I'm taking the Knicks in 7. I gotta take Knicks because, listen, offensively, Atlanta is better. Defensively, New York is better, and it ain't even close if you asking me my opinion. So I'm gonna take the defense. They're the higher seed. They get the first 2 games in New York. I think that's gonna rally some of these guys. You know, the 2 best players, Julius Randle for the Knicks, you know, Trae Young for the Hawks. I right now, I think I believe more in Julius Randle. I know that sounds wild, but I just like what he's doing more. So I'm gonna take the Knicks in 7 because of their defense and because of Julius Randle.
I'm really close. I'm really close to changing my position that I've held most of the season, that the Knicks just don't have enough offense to overcome, to complement their outstanding defense. I'm close, but I'm sticking with my position. I'm going Atlanta. I think in the end they just got too much firepower. The Knicks are going to be in every game. They're going to make things difficult. But I think in the last 3 minutes of a lot of a handful of these games, the Hawks will execute offensively. The Knicks are going to struggle. It's Julius Randle. It's just going to be hard. But it's going to be a fantastic series. 2 great coaches, Nate McMillan and Tom Thibodeau, and I think it goes the distance. But I do think the Hawks win it in 7.